they're just friend famous, not world famous, like they might be in the future. So when we have to invite them back when they're like real life celebrities, it costs money. So that's why we give our like little thank yous out to the Booster Club who supports us, our little side hustles of the bracelets that we've been selling all week and the caramel apple pops. Thank you to anybody who has made some for us and who has bought them. It takes a lot to put all of this together. So tech crew up there, thank you for all that you do. Give us a little department, obviously, and all of you guys for being an amazing audience. So we're gonna get this started because this is who we want to hear. We have our first. Oh, these AirPods. He's like, it's like the. What song are you listening to right now? Oh, Applebaum. Benita Applebaum. Okay. So he's getting his hype music up, but we are gonna be your hype soundtrack now. So we're gonna welcome up Ali Ahunbayev.
Mrs. O'Donnell's second period AP Life class. I originally wanted to make a movie for Writers Week about my friend who's down bad. And if you're old, down bad means romantically troubled. But during our movie, he actually left because the girl called him to hang out. So we couldn't get that. So now I'm reading a story instead about my friends and how they're down bad. So it's two stories, and they're both under the title The Homie's Love. For as long as I've known him, my friend Abdul has been looking for action. No matter what social context we're in, he's constantly scanning the room for baddies. I called him once to tell him about my day and how a girl in my class opened up about how she was stressed about school and her dad, and Abdul cut me off saying, let's get to the point, bro. Is she bad? On the weekends, we take the train to the city and walk around, and that's how we met our homie on the street, Rakim. One time we're hanging out in the middle of Chicago, and as always, Abdul's pointing out every pretty lady he sees. Rakim starts making fun of him for constantly talking about girls, but never to them. It's okay, bro, you can talk to them, they're just people. Hop off, Rakim, you're a bum. Hey, you don't gotta disrespect my predicament just because you're mad you got no riz. I got riz, bro. For real? For real. Hi, there's some cuties over there. You see that girl in pink? Why don't you go talk to them? See, I would, but you got no riz. Alright, fine. I don't know if you can consider what Abdul did as talking to them. He generally went up and opened his mouth. But it sounded something like, hey girls, what's up? What's up? We kind of just looked at him for a second because they weren't sure if he was okay or not. And he got shy and said, sorry, and jogged back to us. Akim and I were dying. Man, what the hell is that? I tried, bro, but they're just trying to have some like friend time. Like, I don't want to bother him. You go, bro, let's see you. He was like, all right. Akim goes up all smooth and he says, excuse me, ladies, how we doing today? Good. That's excellent. I'm sorry to bother you, but I was wondering if you pretty girls would like to hear some rhymes I've been working on. Yeah, sure. All right, for sure. Akim plays a nice beat and starts rapping real sweet. Like, when I walk down the block, the girls stop the clock. You can't help but watch because I got mad props. Tall and slim with brown skin complexion, have them sweating my love and affection. As I collect them, I must respect them, love them deeply, but never disrespect them. Damn, that was real good. It's very nice meeting y'all. I'm always around here if you need anything. Got bars I can spit for you and bars I can take you to. He blew a kiss and walked off. Akim was smooth, but Abdul wasn't. And after that rejection, his thirst and low self-esteem led him to download Tinder as a joke. But after swiping for 4 hours, the only joke was that he got 0 matches. I would advise y'all never to read your friends' messages on Tinder. It's sad. It's the most absurd emoji use I've seen in my life. Abdul's problem was that he approached romance and love like hunting. He was trying to catch someone, something that would complete him. But he didn't think he was good enough to do that yet. What made it so easy for Rakim was the fact that he loved himself and didn't need anyone else to do it for him. Thus, approaching girls or anyone else was a light thing. He was just trying to have fun and connect with people. Once Abdul understood this and stopped watching Riz tutorials on YouTube, he focused on connecting with others and actually found a relationship with a wonderful girl. Through his silliness, I learned my first love lesson. In order to love well, you must appreciate yourself first. And your relationships get a little lighter. And don't use Tinder. The second story is about my friend Burhan, who's different from Abdul. A lot of people say Burhan looks like the type of guy who's really mean to girls, like a player. But that's just because he's incredibly handsome. He's actually the sweetest dude I know. Like whenever I call him, he talks about how he wants to surprise his wife with picnics and how he's reading books about communication so he can be a good listener for her. It makes sense that he's the only one of us who's been in a long-term relationship. I remember trying to set him up with this girl in 8th grade. I told him to wink at her from across the class, and she noticed, and it grew from there. I saw them write letters to each other, steal advances in class, and it was exciting. But we were at a religious boarding school where dating wasn't allowed, so they sneak around in recess and staircases. It seemed exciting until they got caught. She was pulled from the school and he was suspended for 2 weeks for a hug. That's crazy. On the day this all happened, I found Burhan sitting by himself at the staircase in a fetal position. I sat down and put my arm around him. He didn't say anything. He just cried. I sat with him, and I don't know how long it was. As I saw him, I could tell that even though we were in middle school, and we were kids, and none of this mattered, that he was experiencing actual love, more deeply than any of us could understand. After that, we thought it was only a matter of time until their relationship fizzled out. Our friend group joked and placed bets that they would break up in high school. But after 4 years of FaceTime, we watched in wonder as their relationship continued. We thought, damn, we're really gonna get married. We finally believed that we lost the bet. 6 months ago, she broke up with me, and I watched Burhan turn into the kid I saw on the stairs in 8th grade. He cried, he had panic attacks, and he constantly dreamed about getting back together. There'd be weeks where he said he was over her, seemed completely fine. And in the middle of the game, of a soccer game, he stopped running, looked at me, and said, I don't think she ever loved me. I thought, damn, what a sin from the middle of a soccer game. But that's what gives Burhan the ability to love so much. He opens himself up to be completely vulnerable, and he accepts the fact that whoever he loves has an embarrassingly strong place in his heart and lets them have it, no matter how much it hurts. Seeing Burhan feel so much more pain than the rest of us, but also just feeling so much more, taught me my most important lesson in life. That in order to love, you must open yourself up and be wounded, and to bleed willfully and joyfully. But if, in your fear, you only want love's peace and love's pleasure, then it might be better for you to cover your nakedness and pass out of love's way, into the seasonless world, where you shall laugh, but not all of your laughter, and cry, but not all of your tears. The boys have had some romantic troubles, and through them we found lessons that will guide us in future Riz endeavors. But I think the greatest lesson we've come to understand is the value of each other. As we go on these adventures trying to figure out how to love others and how to be loved, we might fumble, and the world might try to break us. But in the midst of our inevitable heartbreak, there's always a love we can turn to and be healed by. The homies love.
Hello, my name is Anissa. Shout out to Mrs. Veneo's third period English class. Okay, my piece is called Visual. Some people call it poem because it rhymes, but I think of it more like a thought song, which probably sounds more cliche than just calling it a poem, but okay, let's just get started. How many of you are visual learners? I know I am. If someone tells me to do this or that but doesn't show me, then I don't really understand. They say, what does this mean? What's 2 plus 3? But I can't give you an answer unless it's something I can see. I guess just hearing the words doesn't make sense in my head until it's midnight and I'm all alone, cozied up in my bed, and I think, oh, that's what I should have said. Now take a look around you. Utilize those skills. The person sitting next to you, they could be your friend, your teacher, someone you have no clue who they are. But all you know is you were both jacking here for your English class, and you don't have to take that quiz until next week, thank goodness. Now, you might not even be listening to this. Maybe you're just on your phone. I mean, you're technically not supposed to. I think this is a red zone. But I mean, hey, it's a free country. Do what you want. You're not going to get arrested for playing Subway Surfers or scrolling through TikTok. Send that text to your mom, I know, is so important. I mean, you're writing, after all, on his Writers Week. Isn't that the whole point of it? Well, to an extent, I suppose, but if you're not really listening to the words that we wrote, then really the answer is no. But why should you care? You probably don't know who I am. Look at her up there. She's got fake bleach blonde hair, and she's probably Taylor Swift fan. Make all the assumptions about you that you wish for your own made-up story. But the truth is, at the end of the day, you don't know who I am. My words are just a part of me. I write so I can explain the things that I can't see. I write my own fantasies. I write so I can escape reality. I write so I can cope with what's in front of me. I write so I can have company. Because I should have written back to her before it was too late. I regret not writing to her when I had the chance to, but I'll make sure at the pearly gates. Now, I make sure to write what people are so about. I wrote over 3,236 words for him when we fell out. And when I began to lose friends, my writing seemed to never end.
for I wrote until I gave myself the answer to all these questions I had to ask, and when it came time to see them again, I know our time had passed. Over 700 unsaid words to people that wouldn't last. So I thought that no matter what you say or do, it won't change things, so it's better to be silent than try communicating. Because if there's one thing I've learned, it's that people don't actually want to hear what you have to say. They just want you to agree with them and think what they may. But I've tried changing myself way too many times to fit other people's desires, and it was all just a lie. No one likes version 1, 2, or 3 of me, so maybe I should just finally let myself be. But I don't even know who I am anymore. I've lost myself trying it and trying to be someone else, and now I'm not sure. So I'll take a step away. I've learned it's much better to be content on your own than to be amongst the chaos and pretend to be okay. But I'll keep a smile on my face so the tears won't leave a trace. Because I'm a performer, you see, and people say many things about me. I've played too many characters to remember who I am. It's all mixed up in my head, and I'm lost once again. If I don't even know who I am, how could you? Go ahead and say all you want about me, please. But no matter what you say about me, you will never know my story. My story is like a fairy tale, but there's been plenty of times when I have failed. See, it's not like the Disney rewrites you see of the princesses and the happy endings. Mine's a hidden fairy tale you find all bottled up. At the bottom of the ocean, to find it is pretty tough. Mine's a hidden fairy tale I've kept locked away because I've been trapped in a tower and I no longer want to stay. Mine's a little more grim. And slowly, as the pages turn, the lights become more dim because I'm still learning how to manage my emotions and keep my spirits up. I'm sorry for all the little things building in me that cause me to occasionally erupt. I'm sorry for leaving you up and walking away. I'm sorry for not giving context for the reasons I act this way. I'm sorry about so many things I can't even say. But an apology can only get you so far when you've already caused the pain. So maybe my struggles are a blessing in disguise, and maybe there's something I don't have to despise. Maybe there's a lesson to be taught or a danger I'm being kept from. Because I believe everyone comes into my life with a purpose, and everything happens for a reason. But purpose doesn't equal permanence, and so I'm still left grieving. I don't understand why these things happen. I know I'll understand in the future, but in the moment I feel helpless and I wish I could know sooner. I keep asking myself, why? But then I dry my eyes. Because I remember that there are people who care for me, and I remembered my family. My family that took us into their home during the summer of 2017. My family that, although struggles with money, still gave me everything. My family that, although it makes me cry because I feel like I'm dying of thirst sometimes, but blood is thicker than water, so I must give them first. But family isn't just the bloodline you were born to. It's more than just the people around you in your home. It's also the people who are always there for you, no matter where you roam. So, for the about 65% of you that are visual learners and the rest who just observe, there's only so much you can learn without really listening to a person's words. If you look around, there's much more to everyone's life than it seems, and there's plenty of joys in your own life, and you just have to open your eyes to see. If you choose to get to know me or choose to leave instead, there's only so much you can see from the words that I've read. Sometimes the quietest people are the ones who need to talk the most, or the happiest of people, the ones who are most sad when they get home. So go ahead and judge my cover. I'm a lover, not a fighter. But at the end of the day, there's nothing you could say, because you will never know my story. You don't know who I am. Thank you. Next up is Mia Patla.
Hello, I'm Mia Patla, and this piece I wrote is called A Talk with Time, which is about a conversation where someone who really wants to turn to the future but is too focused on the past. Time is escaping me. I sit back as I watch it race by. Even though I know I must act, I can't seem to do anything but idly sit as it escapes my grasp, leaving on whispers of regret. My vision is forever tinged with what-ifs and has-beens, my head forever facing backwards. No matter the moment, I couldn't seem to face my future, seemingly unattainable. To turn around is to leave behind, and to leave behind is to forget. Even when I don't want to remember, I'm unable to let go. So stuck I am, forever looking back as my life lives without me. My present disappears, only to be seen moments later in my past. Hands I once held leave no trace. Faces once so vivid, now splotches on a gray background. I can't get myself to turn around. Despite comfort chilling my eyes from the fear of the unknown. Living here only sparks more bitterness of what I've missed, yet I can't seem to escape the cycle. A cycle that will only end once I fade away, my life lost to my pastful present. So many faces that could have been friends now lost to the sea of time. Why did I not take that hike, cross that path, sit in that seat? Could everything have been different? Why didn't I speak up? Why can't I go back and change? I want to slice and tear the pieces of regret out, but I can't. I can't extract the disease of lost words, can't drown the tough decisions and wrong choices. So what's there left to do? I can't go back. Even though I want to so badly, it hurts, so badly that my skin itches and crawls and burns from my regret, tearing and ripping me apart. But I can't seem to go forward either, because what if it's worse? I wonder if the future is sunnier than here, yet it seems so dark. Maybe I should wait some more to see if I'll be ready soon. Yet to think about wasting more time keeps me here. I have no more time left to give, to wait. Life is unpredictable, right? I'll never know when my time is up until I'm gone. And will I even know at that point? Enough. It's all enough. I need to look, I need to see. Time. You. Both unending and swift. I'm ready to give my past to you as I now take back my future. I'm scared. I'm scared of what I'll see. Yet the possibilities you bring outshine my fear. I'm done sitting here as you race by, and I run to join you. Thank you. Next up is Gianna.
Hi. So as many of you guys know, last year I did Writers Week and I talked about my brother Carmine, who I'm sure if you don't know him, you've definitely heard him in the hallways. And as sure as I am that he would have wanted me to talk about him, I wanted to do something different. So shout out to Miss OD's AP Lit class. So it's actually funny, I've had Miss OD for 2 years and I've done Writers Week for 2 years, so take with that info what you will. Okay. This is one story I've never told anyone before. Not to anyone. This story is an ever-growing story, a story that has yet to be complete. But it is a story that, although unfinished, is really important to being able to understand who I am. It starts in 2015. I had just turned 8. On a hot summer June day, I was about to become independent. Okay, that's a lie. I'm the oldest daughter, who has a special needs brother named Carmine, who is a twin brother, Vinny, and a mom that traveled constantly until I was 10. I was already independent. But I was going to summer camp for the first time, and I was afraid. Being without my family for the first time longer than a sleepover was frightening. But as the only and oldest girl, I put a smile on my face and pretended to be excited, because that's what I'm good at. As we arrived down a long, narrow path road, I could feel my heart starting to beat rapidly and my hands shake. I could hear my mom talk to me, telling me about how much fun she used to have at this very same camp and tell me the stories which she remembered. That alone gave me a little confidence boost as we rolled down our window and a counselor asked for information. I got out of the car and someone took my suitcase and my sleeping bag while me and my mom headed up the hill to the main part of camp. At first look, the camp didn't seem frightening. There were 12 wooden cabins with counselors and kids all playing a roof ball in front of the cabins and making bunk tacks. For a moment, I was actually so excited to have this experience. That dream came crashing down as I realized yet again I'd have to be alone. Check-in was insanely boring. We waited in line for like 40 minutes inside this big cafeteria called Micklewright. I didn't know it then, but Micklewright would be one of the places on camp that gave me the most memories. After check-in, my mom walked me to my cabin, Osceola, one of the best cabins as it was right next to the Cairo, also called the bathroom. "Hi, what's your name?" a young girl asked me. "Gianna," I replied. "Awesome, so I can see it's your first year at camp. My name is Liz, and I'll be one of your counselors." Liz was so nice. That whole week I looked up to her. That day, I met all of my cabin mates. They were all pretty nice to me. For a lot of them, this week wasn't their first time at camp, so I felt a little left out being the newbie and earning the first neckerchief, which was green, which I got for just going to camp. After I said goodbye to my mom, who hugged me tight, I felt myself getting teary-eyed and asked to go to the bathroom, wanting a minute alone. "We'll go with you," 2 girls asked me. As confused as I was, I nodded my head. When we got to the Kaibo, I went into the stall and quietly started crying. Although that didn't last long, as I knew those girls were waiting for me outside the stall. So I wiped my tears and put on a brave face. It wasn't until before dinner that I knew why those girls had to come with me. I needed to be part of a treaty, which is basically a rule that if you wanted to go anywhere around camp, you needed 2 other people to go with you in case someone fell. After learning all the camp rules and the camp song that gets sung before every campfire, we got to pick 4 skills to do every day. I picked snorkeling, 40G, land sports, and H2O Awesome, which was a bunch of water games. I didn't know it then, but picking snorkeling would make me terrified of seaweed. I still refuse to touch it to this day. That night, as we were at the opening campfire, I sat by this girl, Paige, who would be my best friend throughout this whole week. I still remember the energy from my first ever opening campfire. Since I went to session 1, all the counselors were so excited, as many of them were counselors for the first time. It made me want to become a counselor right then and there. The first few days went smoothly, except at nighttime. After flashlight time was over and everyone went to bed, for the first 3 nights I cried myself silently to sleep. The daytime was fun, but the nighttime was hard for me. On Wednesday, we had the chance to do the Buck Island swim, which is when you have to swim to this island called Buck Island on Friday morning at like 5 o'clock. 2 girls from my cabin, whom I'll call Aubrey and Grace, asked me to do it with them, and I agreed. I passed the swim test, obviously, allowing me to do the swim. The same day, during Camper's Choice, I heard Aubrey and Grace talking about me and making fun of me to the older girls and guys they knew since it wasn't their first time at camp. And when I walked up to them, they started talking to me and picking to me on my face. I was really hurt as I thought they were my friends. That night, Grace decided to not do the swim, and so me and Aubrey were going to do it together. But the more I thought about it, the more I had no interest in doing it after what I heard from them during Camper's Choice. So instead of just telling Aubrey I didn't want to do it, I faked an injury for the rest of the week. I convinced the nurse, Penny, and the other nurse, who turned out to be my now best friend's dad, that I needed an ankle brace. My favorite counselor, Izzy, and my other counselor, Amy, even went with me every day to get ice for my hurt ankle. After that, I stuck to just hanging out with Paige and I had a blast. The morning of pickup, I was dreading going home. I had so much fun and I didn't want to leave. Even though camp scared me at first, it was a really fun place to be. When my mom picked me up, I said bye to everyone, including Aubrey and Grace. That was the last time I ever saw Paige. Now fast forward to today, I've been going to camp ever since. I've never missed a year. Camp has made me the person I am today, and I can't wait to hopefully be a counselor next summer and change lives the way mine was changed. Looking back at this has shown me how I haven't really changed. I still go out of my way to not confront an Aubrey or Grace, and I always strive to keep the peace eight-year-old me so desperately wanted. Although our treaties tend to ebb and flow with the stages of life, it's the ones that hold you up when you fall and don't hold you back. Those are the ones that matter most. Thank you. Next up is Anya.
Shout out to Mr. D's second period. On the last day of school in 5th grade, my teacher brought out craft supplies and paper bags to make compliment bags, where each student had to write 29 individual compliments and place 1 in each bag. Well, most kids got compliments like, "You're a great friend," and "You're so pretty." I got a bag full of the same 2 compliments: "You're nice," from the people who didn't talk to me very often, and "You're so funny." These 3 words meant the world to me. I didn't care that half the people saying this just said it so that they met the 28 compliment criteria. This simple, probably shallow compliment changed my perspective on myself completely. Throughout my life, I've always used humor to help my friends if they were down about something. I'd say something funny because humor is the way I show empathy. And truthfully, I'm not very good at giving advice or helping at all. For example, when my friend Lily was crying after she crashed her car while the song The Fall of Jake Paul was playing, all I could do was laugh and say, "Please stop crying." Although at the time it did not help at all and honestly made the situation way worse, I'm pleased now we're able to look back at it and laugh about what I said now. The best way of explaining how I show empathy with my humor is by understanding that the true way to know if you're really good at a language is if you can be funny in that language. I speak 3 languages because I grew up with my parents and grandparents speaking Hindi and Punjabi. And I learned English in school. But I'm only really good at English because I understand how to use the language to be funny and how to use cultural references and slang that come from speaking English to be funny. Although I know all the words and can completely understand Hindi and Punjabi, I'll always feel a disconnect from the languages because I can't show my character through them. Although this disconnect makes me feel upset, my humor has also connected me to my culture in many other ways. As a child, my parents would drag me to these parties their friends were throwing. Now, these parties weren't anything crazy. They were just a group of families getting together, eating food, and dancing. From ages 4 to 9, I had no interest in these parties. I only went because I was forced to. I'd spent the whole time sleeping on a pile of coats and begging my parents to go home. Once I was around 9, I was able to hang out with the older kids. They were like 2 years older than me, but I had a very poor concept of age. These kids were the funniest people I've ever met, and being around them pretty much shaped my personality. I felt so connected to them because they were just like me. Since I went to a predominantly white elementary school, they were some of my only Indian friends. After years of being close to them, I was told that I was so funny. Although my ego has never been higher, I finally felt like my life had come full circle, as the people who taught me how to be funny gave me what I thought to be the highest compliment I could possibly receive. Next up is Fatima.
Shout out to Miss OD's second hour AP Lane. Also, excuse my vocal fry. Oh, okay. So this piece I wrote. Okay, so this piece is about how I got made fun of my lunches in elementary school, and at the time it felt like a big deal, but now I realize it's really not that deep. Okay. Food is beyond just fuel and nutrients for our bodies. It's an exploration of identity, an explosion of flavors on our palates, filling us with sensations ranging from pleasure to disgust. And when an exemplary recipe is provided, it's a symphony, perfectly orchestrated to fill all the right notes at once. There is a rich cultural foundation to what we eat, how it's cultivated, the process in which it's prepared, who sits at the table, and even who eats first. All these factors, in my eyes, are a form of beauty. Although I was appreciative of Desi cuisine as a child, I experienced a great disconnect in accepting my cultural foods, especially in the wake of non-diasporic communities. With the strong desire to fit in as a child, I frequently felt embarrassed bringing in foreign meals to school. I dreaded opening my lunchbox in front of my peers, knowing that I would constantly be ambushed by faces of disgust and wrinkled noses. Some would whisper and taunt, and others would inch away. I struggled to understand why it had become such a controversy to bring in commodities that had been baptized in spices with a powerful aroma that carried the stories of my ancestors in a bowl. These bitter memories stuck with me for many years, echoing in my thoughts. It felt as if I had been swallowed by the uncooperativeness of the world. So I refused to open up again, hiding behind my shame and my lunchbox, eating nothing but my sorrows. For others, their grandmothers baked them fresh chocolate chip cookies straight from the oven and into their mouths. For my nanny and I, on the other hand, things work a little differently. Separated by 8,500 miles of land and sea and a language barrier, we bond through classic meals we share on those rare summers I spend in her peaceful seaside village. Each month, I yearn for the care packages we receive with her varieties of masala and her intricate delicacies. With her, I learned to reclaim my identity. It wasn't until my adolescence that I stopped being hesitant to display my ethnic meals. I was pleasantly surprised to hear compliments on the scents and colors of my Desi food, especially, bringing tranquility to my soul. During this time, I believe many of us learn to appreciate diversity as we step out of our zones of individuality. Each day, summer inches closer, sending me a taste of my country. Eyes closed, I envision scalding jalebis dissolving under my tongue as the saffron-colored sun rises. My eyes water from the salty air in the proximity of the Indian Ocean, as the sand spits conch shells at my feet. My people may be poor and the land may be polluted, but the atmosphere somehow always manages to feel rich and organic. As the seagulls flap their wings to the rhythm of my heartbeat, I'm in love again with my culture, as in love as newlyweds searching for each other's names in their hennas. I crave the earth and the mountains of my home, and most importantly, the food. Next is Tyler Johnson.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tyler Johnson, and today I'm going to be reading something a little different than just a written piece. So, if you remember last year, I was here at Writers Week, actually a year to the day, February 1st last year. I presented my first ever directed short film, and it was my first ever directed film and edited short film all by myself. I've been interested in film ever since I was a little kid, and that last year was me bringing it for the first time. So a year later, I've directed 2 other films, the one that I'm about to show you, and then also another one that I directed over Thanksgiving break. And this one, I would like to say, is like the pinnacle of my, I guess, of my film career in high school. And I put a lot of effort, a lot of work, a lot of time into this, and I am so proud to finally be able to share it with everyone. So the film's name is Talent. And you're going to see, the music you're going to hear in it was composed by my cousin. He freestyle raps, so that's a lot of music you're going to hear here is all him. And then you're also going to see 2 main actors. Mr. Tyker, he is the music department chair. He also directs some of the music ensembles here. He plays one person, and then my other friend Christian, he plays the main character lead. So enjoy Talent for
Yeah, drop out the records, I'm eating my port on top of the bitter, I'm finna abroad. End of the year, I gotta keep flowing, I'm rapping your gifts, I guess the bonus. Whatever the bitters about to destroy us, I run to the dream, we move like a tortoise. Eyes on the prize, I gotta stay focused, cause I see the light at the end of the tunnel. Taking my shower, the joint not blocking this. Listen to dream, feel like a hippopotamus. No, I say take the horns out the rhinoceros. Breaking your theory, you crush your hypothesis. And with the heat, I can play with the fire. Go through the hoops, I can play with the lines. The beat sound like instrument crying. I chill in the clouds, the pass of the time. Slow down, cause I ain't trying to cause calamity. Keep the circle tight, you know nothing important than the family. Grinding like I do, you'll probably plead for insanity. I'm living out my dream, this is more than a fantasy. Like a Beyblade, I'ma let it rip. Sleeping on the dreams, don't mix well with this. Riding on my wave, call it. I gotta stay focused, cause I see the light at the end of the tunnel. Taking my shower, the joint not blocking this. Listen to dream, feel like a hippopotamus. No, I say take the horns out the rhinoceros. Breaking your theory, you crush your hypothesis. And with the heat, I can play with the fire. Go through the hoops, I can play with the lines. The beat sound like instrument grind. I chill in the clouds, the pass of the time. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. Taking my shower, the joint not blocking this. Listen to dream, feel like a hippopotamus. No, I say take.
Khalil, your shoe's untied. You're late for your lesson. Let's go. Yeah, you mentioned it last week, so I thought I'd pick out some music for you. Fortunately, I don't think I can be there. Actually, I have the dog sit.
Mr. Barrett, this is all.
Etudes, I know. Some Mozart, some Beethoven. These are real pieces of music that show off your musicality, sonority, expression.
I have absolutely no idea what they're doing.
Let's start at measure one.
Okay.
That's the completely wrong style, Khalil.
Well, Mr. Burden,
It's bearded, not burden. We've been over this.
it's just.
Yes.
In classical. I hate it.
Classical. How could you not like it? It's the original art form.
I mean, it's just not my style. And you remember I said I'm going to stand out this year. Last year when I played my solo, I mean, all I heard was crickets. This is my last chance to show everyone that I'm not just some band nerd.
I remember last year, and that's why I picked this piece. It's the whole reason you're coming to lessons. And I promise you, this is going to get you the results that you're looking for. And I appreciate you playing jazz, playing a solo, getting into your thing, but playing jazz and Java just isn't the same thing. Sometimes it's better to get what we need than what we want.
Oh, Mr. Burden.
Khalil, promise me, this is a night where you can show off your talents, what makes you unique. Don't fall into the same traps I did and play the classical piece.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Burden, theater. Yeah.
Okay. I got this. Sorry, you did great. It's your birthday, didn't hear so.
I couldn't miss my star student play. Plus, I have led honors in school. Ain't that something?
Okay, Freak. What is Mr. Bearden doing here?
5 minutes till, 5 minutes till. Please take your places.
Okay. Here we go.
last one for high school and is going into college, unfortunately. But I think that was everything you guys over the past year. I've been working with the story and everything, so thank you all. And one more round of applause for everybody who presented today.
So that was a nice way to this amazing second period. So thank you all for coming. Thank you all for being an amazing audience. We only have like 2 more minutes left. Enjoy the rest of Writers Week today and tomorrow. Bye.